All right, guys, look, in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you how to say solar on the doorstep in a way that gets people to lean in and ask you, how does that work? What do you mean? Because that's what we want in the door approach. If especially if you're using the intro that I just covered, the question-based intro in the last video, you want them to say, how does that work? What do you mean? And when they ask that, now you have an opportunity to create a context around solar that it's not triggering, it's not scary. It actually makes them want to learn more, and it allows you to speak without feeling this rush or pressure to like they're going to close the door on you. So you use that intro. If you didn't, go check it out in this video, in that last video. You use that intro and then they say, "How does that work? What do you mean?" Because the last question, right, that we asked, you said, "Would you think it was a bad idea if we had another company that could compete with Southern California Edison for the electric utility market?" And they're like, a lot of people, they'll say, "No, I think that's not a bad idea." I'll say, "Well, like, why do you say that?" Like, "Well, competition's good." But, and then they'll say something like, "How does it work?" Or like, "Do you have your own power lines?" Or "What do you do?" This is where I set the context for solar in a way that they've never heard before. Not a single person is explaining it to them like this. And they're like, why are you, a lot of times they're like, "Why are you the first person to tell me about this?" And in the back of my head, I'm like, I guarantee all 80 of the solar guys that came by your house last year were talking about this. They just didn't explain it in a way that resonated. So here's how I explain it. Well, I say, well, look, I can't do it for every home. The home has to meet certain criteria, but these solar companies, they're building what's called a microgrid. And so the same way Edison has their grid, power lines, power plants, they deliver power to your house and you purchase it. A solar company, they build this microgrid. It's in the form of solar. It's still solar panels. It's still batteries that backs up your house. You have full home backup. The difference being, if the home is approved, one, you don't have to buy your power from Edison anymore. Your your Edison bill will actually go negative. And then what happens is a solar company steps in as your utility company and says, "Hey, we will give you a flat rate for power. It's less than tier one. It's whether it's you or someone else who lives in the home, they're guaranteed to have this rate for power as long as you live here." Now, like I said, I can't do it for everyone. And so that's when we're going to transition to the next one. But when you set that context for the S word, solar, because solar a lot of times is a trigger word. Like you have to be careful how you say solar on the doorstep. When you set that context that, hey, you can buy your power from a solar company, and that's the big rock I want to get in first. When they understand that, solar on the roof becomes much less of an issue. When they understand there's no debt, they're not paying for it out of pocket, they're not financing anything. It's a power bill. You're already paying a power. It's something you're already doing, but you're drastically overpaying. When they understand that and the context is set, then we can move on to, yeah, solar on the roof and some more of the details and how it comes to moving and all those things. And we can set an appointment. We can transition to the next step. So this is probably the most important part of your whole pitch is setting this context. Hey, some of these large solar companies, instead of selling solar equipment, they've started selling solar power, because a lot of people, they just don't buy solar. It just doesn't make sense. Like spending 50 grand and waiting 10 years to get your money back, it doesn't make sense. So people are instead just buying their power from a solar company. They're saving a significant amount on their electric bill and they're not affected by inflation anymore. But like I said, now we pull it back. I can't do it for everyone. I need to ask you a little more about your situation and then I'll circle back another time and get you some more info. Would that be appropriate? Now, if you want to know how we create pain for the people who are like, "Oh, it's interesting," but that's the next video. Check it out. Yeah.